recognizing when narcissism makes you a mandatory target for destruction. The very core of narcissistic personality pathology is defined by profound entitlement and an extreme need for control, making it fundamentally impossible for them to respect the boundaries of others. Many survivors have been exposed to narcissistic individuals whose style of interaction amounts to relentless bullying. When you express a thought, a preference, or an action that deviates even slightly from their script, the relationship instantly transforms from partnership into a zero-sum competition. You cease to be a loved one or a colleague. You become the opponent who must be defeated, squashed, and taught a lesson. The pattern of pathological opposition. This pervasive need for opposition is often traceable to early life experiences. Many survivors recount growing up with a parent, a father or a mother, who responded to any display of unique thought or distinct preference with punitive vengeance. Similarly, siblings, partners, or co-workers with these tendencies make others targets, turning normal human difference into a threat that must be neutralized. This is why many survivors entering a committed relationship with a narcissist are shocked. They never anticipated that fierce competition would become the defining trait of their partnership. The moment their authentic difference emerges, they are immediately designated the enemy who must be taken down. The narcissist's bullying behavior is characterized by predictable, aggressive tactics designed to dismantle your confidence and silence your voice. These include verbal harassment, a constant barrage of criticism, insults, ridicule, and mocking. They express overpowering opinions, moving beyond merely stating their belief to demanding mandatory compliance. You have to believe as I do, or face the consequences. They possess an almost pathological ability to argue over the most trivial matters, constantly seeking a trigger. They easily invalidate your experiences, perpetually interrupt you, and use pervasive sarcasm. Their anger fluctuates between overt, aggressive outbursts and calculated passive-aggressive payback if their agenda is not immediately adopted. This environment is not merely unpleasant. It is psychologically unsustainable, leading the victim to the painful realization that this is not the life they signed up for. The trauma behind the tyranny. A frequently debated question in psychology is whether trauma is the necessary precursor to narcissistic pathology. The answer is nuanced, but the source of the behavior must be learned somewhere. Many narcissists were indeed exposed to intense bullying, rejection, condemnation, or harsh punishment in their formative years for daring to be unique or distinct. As a result, some of their competitive aggression may stem from a deep, defensive posture born of early trauma. They learned to inflict the pain they once received. However, not all narcissists fit this victim-turned-aggressor narrative. Some may have been the golden child who was excessively indulged, or individuals who, due to consistent external praise, developed a grandiose sense of specialness that led them to believe they must forcibly bring others into their sphere of influence. Regardless of the precise etiology, the key psychological takeaway for the victim is this: the narcissist's competitive, opponent-minded approach is their number one maladaptive coping skill. In their pessimistic worldview, any deviation from their narrative is interpreted not as mere disagreement, but as an existential threat against their fragile sense of self. They feel misunderstood, and when you think differently, their mindset is not "you are wrong," but "you are against me, and I must protect myself by pummeling you." Their cognition operates on a rigid win-lose, high-low spectrum. When confronted with your unique expression, their underlying pessimism immediately dictates the interpretation. Well, this proves you're a screw-up. This extreme negativity ensures that difference is never an opportunity for connection, but always a justification for combat. Strategies for survival: reclaiming the right to differ. The victim's safety and eventual recovery depend on understanding and dismantling this competitive dynamic. The continuous barrage of criticism and invalidation leads to the victim adopting the narcissist's pessimistic view of themselves, causing identity confusion and crippling self-doubt. Psychologists advocate for a strategy centered on radical acceptance of difference without engagement. Dismantle the competition. Recognize that the argument is not about the topic at hand, the tree stump trivia, but about control and supply. Do not engage with their content. Engage only with their behavior. Assert the boundary of belief. Employ gray rock techniques. refusing to provide the emotional fuel the narcissist craves. When they state a mandatory opinion, simply respond with neutral statements that assert your separateness without arguing, such as, "That is your perspective," or "I see that you feel very strongly about that." Reclaim internal validation. The most potent defense is rebuilding the sense of self-worth that the narcissist actively work to destroy. This involves recognizing that your unique preferences are not flaws, but integral parts of your identity. Seeking therapy focused on cognitive behavioral techniques, CBT, and self-compassion can help the victim rewire their response from fear-based appeasement to calm, assertive neutrality. The goal is to move from a position of being the opponent to standing as an untouchable sovereign of your own mind. This deeply pessimistic worldview, rooted in their fragile ego, dictates the next aggressive step. "People in front of me just don't know how to do life. You don't think like, in other words, you don't think like me." From this faulty premise, they draw a dangerously distorted conclusion. Because you're such a screw-up, and because you don't think like me, you need my influence. They genuinely believe you are unaware of your need for their superior guidance, making it their self-appointed task to let you know that we have to rid you of you and fill you of me. This imperative to dominate is driven by a paranoia that you might gain the upper hand, which would equate to their annihilation. The insecurity beneath the bully's mask. When confronted with such relentless internal bullies, the psychological inquiry must shift to what lies beneath the surface of the aggression. They desperately want you to believe that you are the problem, which justifies their adversarial stance. However, several critical questions expose the profound pathology at their core. One must ask, is this an emotionally stable and secure person? The answer, overwhelmingly, is no. When an individual presents as a strong bully, it is a clinical marker of terrible insecurity and emotional instability. The aggressive outward presentation is a compensatory defense mechanism against feelings of inner worthlessness. We must also question the origins of this coercive belief system. What modeling have they been exposed to that taught them this adversarial approach is correct? Whether it stemmed from harsh parenting, competitive sports environments, or social scenarios where one group othered another, they internalized the brutal lesson that the toughest one wins. This behavior is a direct expression of the pain they are carrying. You do not perpetually bully others because you feel good about life. Their pervasive negativity and pessimism are the result of deep, unaddressed negative life experiences, which they have failed to process constructively. The narcissist's hidden shame and fear. Perhaps the most illuminating question is, what does this person not want you to know about himself or herself? They relish your vulnerability because it offers an easy target, a guaranteed win. Yet, they absolutely cannot tolerate being vulnerable themselves. Their overpowering demeanor is a massive wall built to conceal the unbearable truth they often won't even admit to themselves. They live with a crushing burden of fear and shame. This defense mechanism is so potent that they must continuously project their anxiety and perceived failures onto the victim, ensuring the spotlight never falls on their fractured core. A question that strikes at the heart of their malice is, what do they gain by your demise? What deep psychological need is met by taking delight in demeaning someone else? Consider the horrifying example of a mother shoving soap into a child's mouth for saying the wrong thing, or the spouse who hurls insult after insult. This gratuitous infliction of pain provides the narcissist with a rush of sadistic supply, a temporary pathological feeling of power and superiority that momentarily fills the void left by their shame. The victim's dilemma, interpreting false kindness. For the victim, living under the constant threat of imminent bullying forces a painful reinterpretation of reality. When the narcissist is occasionally pleasant or friendly, the victim is left to wonder, how am I going to interpret these moments? The prevailing and often correct conclusion is that the pleasantness is simply a cover, a phony baloney interlude before the next predictable outburst. This makes it impossible for the victim to relax or trust, maintaining a state of continuous hypervigilance. The narcissist cannot simply say, "You think differently from me. Maybe I can learn from you." This requires humility and the recognition of the victim's separate worth, both of which are impossible because the victim is designated the opponent. Compromise is off the table because for them, To give ground is to suffer annihilation. The ultimate question then becomes, is this person truly oblivious to the pain they cause? If they possess no genuine insight, it is a sign of profound emotional immaturity and stunted development. If, conversely, they are not oblivious, it tells us something far darker. The behavior is purposeful, part of a well-developed scheme to manipulate and control. Ultimately, individuals who approach life with this belligerent, bullying mindset are dreadfully afraid of appearing irrelevant. Their lack of genuine connection means they know next to nothing about love, honor, or dignity. They are utterly devoid of positive social traits like encouragement, kindness, or compassion, having traded these human qualities for the hollow, destructive power of the bully. You simply won't witness that capacity for growth, learning, or empathy from these individuals on any sustained level whatsoever. While we could spend endless time psychoanalyzing the deep, broken motivations of these people, the irreducible truth remains. When you find yourself in the presence of a bully whose coping mechanism requires turning you into an opponent, you are dealing with an intensely toxic and psychologically unsafe person. Navigating toxicity, strategies for disengagement. The first essential realization must be, there is no good reason in the world to take emotional or behavioral cues from someone this profoundly unhealthy. Once you recognize that you are dealing with this bullying pattern, your immediate challenges shift towards self-preservation and boundary enforcement. Maximize physical and emotional distance. The primary strategic imperative is to pull as far away from that person as you can. This individual will be chronically unsafe. Therefore, you must minimize interaction to the absolute bare minimum required by external circumstances. Embrace your distinction. Separate yourself mentally and ponder, what is it about me that the narcissist fundamentally fails to comprehend? This is your strength. You must actively work to embrace and celebrate your distinctions and uniqueness, validating them internally regardless of the narcissist's attacks. Define assertiveness as separation. Next, redefine what assertiveness looks like in this hostile context. Part of assertiveness means achieving complete psychological separation from their need for conflict. While confrontation may occasionally be necessary to state a boundary, and they will try to argue and pull you back into their loop, your response must be rooted in calm confidence. You do not owe them a defense or an explanation. Instead, you assert your reality through your actions, consequences, priorities, and stipulations. Be your own person. If their response is disapproval, you can internally dismiss it with the understanding, you are a bully trying to make me an opponent, and I refuse to buy into that script. Reclaiming self-respect and peace. Ultimately, the most profound question is, should I even remain in this relationship? Observing this relentless bullying pattern should serve as the decisive evidence that you deserve and can achieve something far better. The narcissist must view you as their opponent, but the survivor's victory lies in realizing they don't have to think that way at all. Your foundation for moving forward should be staked on healthy psychological ingredients. I respect myself. I respect goodness. I trust myself. These are concepts the bully narcissist cannot comprehend, yet they are the healthy tenets upon which you must stake your life. My hope is that insights shared here provide substantial food for thought and emotional validation. Dealing with conflict of this magnitude often warrants professional support. I remain a huge proponent of psychotherapy. When dealing with trauma this significant, professional help is warranted. Resources like online therapy platforms are readily available to connect you with a therapist who can help you navigate this intricate work and position you for recovery. Furthermore, leveraging targeted educational resources is crucial. Deepening your understanding through courses on boundary setting, this is me. Managing anger, anger games. Reclaiming identity, free to be, and building healthy connection skills, Ready Set Connect, provides the tactical knowledge needed to navigate the fallout. My heart goes out to you as you contend with these individuals. Even the word contend implies a type of conflict with winners and losers. You don't need to think that way. By decisively separating yourself from the bully's toxic worldview, you can position yourself to become a person of peace, a state the bully certainly lacks, and distinguish your life by moving in a profoundly better direction.